Yo guys, what's good? Today I've got some, they're like hose guides that you put under your tires. I don't know the exact name for them, but I like to call them tire guards, but basically you just throw these under your tire, and then what's supposed to happen is when you have like a hose or like a extension cord, it'll go against this and it won't get caught on the tire. And I just wanted to talk about these a little bit because, you know, I got them and I thought they'd be really useful for just my pressure washing, but there's a couple of things that made it not really useful, especially in my case, and I just want to talk about it. So if you are looking to get some of these, maybe you're watching this beforehand, or maybe you've had the same issues as I have with these kinds of tire guards, and they just don't work quite as well as you had initially hoped, and that's kind of where I am at. Just gonna go over my grievances with these and why I don't really use them or bring them anywhere. And so the time spent to go and get these and put them under the wheel is about the same amount of time I'm spending trying to get the hose out of the way or being just a little bit slower with my movements so that, you know, it doesn't get stuck under the wheel. So I've got my pressure washer and stuff, and I'll just show you kind of what I mean and why these weren't working too well. So first things first, this is where the tire guard is supposed to go. You just put it like right on the edge of your tire, and what's supposed to happen is instead of the hose getting stuck like under here, let me grab my hose too. It's a little hard to demonstrate with just my finger. So the idea is, like, let's say I'm on the right side of my car and now I'm coming to the left. The hose is going to want to drag itself under the wheels, and so it gets stuck on the wheel, especially when I get near the back. And I don't have the right angle for this. So if I'm moving around the car a lot, it can get a little annoying. So like here, it can get kind of stuck under the wheel and it becomes very hard to pull because of that. So the tire guard is supposed to kind of sit here, and then you know, it helps it so it doesn't get stuck on the wheel like that. So you can see it, like, it'll work most of the time, but there are a couple of times I've noticed where it still gets stuck on the wheel, and that's usually when, you know, my pressure washing hose is kind of wrapped up and it's like bunched up like this, for example. It'll like not go under the car normally, and this has happened to me many times, and because of that, just the fact that I have a low car, it'll get kind of like stuck under the wheel. I can't really demonstrate it, but it'll get stuck under the wheel in a different spot. See, this is kind of a good example. I mean, it sort of worked there, but you kind of get the picture. Like, it can loop in certain ways, and because of that, the tire guard won't react properly. And then what happens is, you know, it gets stuck and caught anyways, even though I took the time to set this up. That's kind of my grievance with the tire guards here, is they don't always work. And I'm sure they work better on cars that are higher up from the ground, like trucks and things like that. But for my car, I've had issues with it. So I just kind of want to see if I can demonstrate this for you guys a little better. I just got it hooked up to my pressure washer like normal. And you can see it's working pretty well. You know, it got all of that working. But now if I go back around, and I got the tire guard on the other side, so you might be able to see it get stuck this time. So I'm gonna go back around. And the idea with the tire guard is you can just be like super lazy, right? But see, it like pulled okay, maybe I just didn't put it in right. So like that'll happen, sometimes the tire guard will just fall out. And I like wedge it under the wheel pretty hard. So but you can see it's still getting stuck somewhere. I can't really see it, but it's definitely stuck. I mean, it let me get all the way to the back of the car and stuff, but you know, it still does get trapped. What the hell is it trapped on? So it just hit the tire guard in the wrong angle. So it's like, even though I'm spending the time to set these up, tripping on everything. Even though I'm spending the time to set this up, you know, it doesn't really add any value to my detail because I'm still having to adjust the hose because it gets stuck. You know, like, I don't want that happening at all if I'm setting these up. So for me, being a detailer, it's like if I'm given the option between using something like a detailing guard or just having a little bit of patience, I'd rather just use a little bit of patience and just take the time to move the hose out of the way, and I'll demonstrate that as well without any of the tire guards on the car. Because in my opinion, the tire guards are kind of like a false sense of security, right? You think, oh, okay, I can just kind of walk around my car with any hoses or cords and they won't get stuck or anything like that, and I'll be good to go. but then they just end up kind of causing you more issues because you tug on the cord randomly really hard when you're expecting it to be smooth or things like that. And it can just kind of cause you more issues, which is kind of unfortunate. And are these the best tire guards? Or I'll just call them cable guides. Are these the best like tire cable guards? Whatever, I'm just making up words at this point, it feels like, or names for these things. So are these the best tire cable guides? Probably not. They're like 13 bucks on Amazon. They're pretty cheap, but you know, I don't think I'll ever be using them again, unfortunately. And I haven't since, you know, I tried them out twice and I had the same issue, and I just had bumped into the issue again within like 10 seconds of trying it out here again. Like they're consistently not working is what that's telling me, and because of that, I just don't want to waste my time using them and setting them up and all of that kind of stuff. What I personally do, and I'll show you this, let me set you guys up. So what I personally do, and this is something I know will always work, and this is why I always resort to this kind of a method, is like, let's say I'm pulled over all the way to one side, right? And I don't have much space to work here. There's not a whole lot of space. So you can see I have the cable all pulled out. What I'll do is I'll just walk back, but I'll pull the cable with me out of the way of the tire. And you can see it's all the way back there now. And then I can work to the other side of the car. And I'll kind of just walk in like a wide radius around the car. Even though I don't have much room, this still works for me. And you know, I think it could work for you as well. And you don't have to spend money on some tire guards, and you don't have to store them. You don't have to do anything with like that, you know. You can just throw them away if you do have them. That's personally why I don't like tire guards, is because you know, you can just be a little bit patient and you'll be fine. I haven't had any issues knowing where my hose is and just maneuvering it accordingly. I think it's a lot better. You'll save money, you'll save space, and you know, you also learn how to actually manage your hose instead of just whipping it around like an idiot and hoping that your tire guards manage it for you. Oh my God, what the hell? Dude. These roofers like redid the roof a few days ago, and I just keep finding like random nails in the ground. I hope I don't puncture a tire. Just saw one like right in my garage, like what the heck? But yeah, guys, a lot of these detailing items, I mean, people love these cable guides. I see tons of reviews from them that were super good, and that's actually kind of what made me want to buy them as well, because I was having that issue where it just felt annoying having to pull the hose out of the way every single time, and these didn't really do anything for me. Because of that, you know, I've just had them and I don't use them at all. I mean, they are cool, they're yellow, and they do work sometimes. The reason it doesn't work is because it's a pressure washing hose and it can kind of wind up a lot. But if you're just using like a normal hose or extension cord, I'm sure it'll work fine for the most part, because those lay a lot more flat. Like pressure washing hoses have a tendency to curl up and stay high off the ground. So that's probably why it gets caught anyways, because you know, it's just too high off the ground, and because of that, it just doesn't get like into the guided channel of the tire guard, the tire cable guide. I think I've called these things at least 5 or 6 different names by now, but you know, you guys get the idea. Detailing tire guards, the tire guard, the tire cable guide, hose guides, the tire guard, the tire guards, tire guard, the tire guards, the tire guard, the tire guards, the tire guard on the tire guard, the tire guide will just the tire guard and the detailing guard, the tire guards. Tire guards are kind of tire guards, cable guides, tire cable guards, tire cable guides, tire guards, and tire guards is tire guards, cable guides, detailing, tire cable guard guides. TM, whatever. I'm just making up words at this point, it feels like. If you are going to use these, just know what you're working with. I wouldn't recommend them for a pressure washing hose personally, because it doesn't work at all. And I think, you know, I think you become a better detailer by not using these, because if you use these, your pressure washing hose is gonna hit the car a lot more often, and it could scratch it. I mean, it's not gonna scratch it much, but it could. You see these videos sometimes where they're like, oh, the vacuum hose will scratch the car if it's moving in and out. And it's like, it's made out of soft plastic, the hoses, and the chance of it scratching is like 0. So I don't think you have to worry about that scratching. I would be more worried about a steamer burning some plastic. If you wanna pick some of these up, you know, it's a good idea for extension cords or things that lay more flat to the ground, like a normal hose would be great too. But yeah, the pressure washer, not so great. And trust me, I'm seating these things in like pretty hard, and it's still flopping out. These things are pretty cheap, so it's kind of like you're not really losing out on much if you do buy them and you regret it. And with Amazon, you can always return within a certain amount of days. So you really have a lot of flexibility to see if you like these things or not. I personally don't. And I know a lot of people love these, but you know, we all have different opinions on things. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on detailing tire guards, detailing tire cable guard guides, TM. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little informational video. There's some cool things about these, like they got like little holes to hang them up and stuff. So no matter what you decide, I think you're still a member of the One Bucket Army here. There's only a few people who I wouldn't recommend being part of the One Bucket Army, and that's a very select amount of people. So thank you guys for watching. Woo! Got it in, baby. Later, guys. I love you guys.